In 2025, Iran made a bold move. It abandoned the American GPS system and adopted China's Beidou satellite navigation network. This wasn't just a technical upgrade, it was a strategic pivot away from US technological dominance and toward a digital alliance with Beijing. For Iran, GPS was more than a convenience, it was a vulnerability, especially given its tense relationship with the United States. The switch marks a turning point in the global contest for technological independence, signaling the rise of a multipolar digital world. Iran's decision reflects a growing trend: nations seeking control over their own digital infrastructure, free from foreign influence. This story is about more than satellites, it's about national security, economic survival, and the desire for sovereignty in a connected world. The architecture of global power is being rewired, one satellite at a time. Iran's break from GPS was triggered by a crisis that exposed the nation's deepest security anxieties. During a brief but intense conflict with Israel, Iranian officials alleged that US-based social media apps were being weaponized to track and target their personnel, amplifying fears of digital espionage and foreign manipulation. Panic quickly spread as GPS malfunctions rippled through daily life in major cities. Ride-hailing services ground to a halt, logistics networks faltered, and even military operations were thrown into disarray. Everyday routines became chaotic, with drivers and delivery workers left stranded by unreliable navigation. The government responded swiftly, urging citizens to delete American apps from their devices, and warning of the risks posed by foreign technology. Authorities began deliberately disrupting GPS signals for security reasons, framing the move as a necessary step to protect national interests and prevent further vulnerabilities. Iran's Deputy Minister of Communications soon confirmed the country was accelerating its adoption of China's Beidou satellite system, presenting it as a defensive necessity in an increasingly hostile digital landscape. The recent conflict turned theoretical risks into immediate threats, blurring the line between civilian technology and military tools. Smartphones, once symbols of modern convenience, became potential liabilities. For Iran, continued reliance on US-controlled networks was no longer acceptable. The crisis made technological self-reliance not just a goal, but an existential priority for the nation's future. The switch to Beidou was presented as a way to secure Iran's digital backbone against foreign interference, ensuring that critical infrastructure would remain under national control. This move is part of a broader long-term strategy to guarantee national security and operational independence, especially in times of crisis or conflict. The events of 2025 made it clear that digital infrastructure can be weaponized, and that Iran would no longer leave itself exposed to such vulnerabilities. The era of digital vulnerability, at least for Iran, is over. The country now stands determined to chart its own technological destiny, no longer at the mercy of foreign powers. Iran's embrace of Beidou is a bold declaration of digital sovereignty, a move that signals its determination to chart its own technological course in a rapidly changing world. This is about more than just technology. It's about the right to control its own digital destiny, free from foreign influence or coercion. For years, Iran's dependence on GPS was seen as a strategic liability, especially under the shadow of US sanctions and mounting international pressure. Iranian planners feared the US could cut off, jam, or even exploit GPS signals, leaving the country blind and vulnerable in a crisis or conflict. By adopting Beidou, Iran aims to build an uninterruptible navigation backbone, one that's immune to American interference and resilient in the face of geopolitical threats. This quest for digital autonomy isn't unique to Iran. China, Russia, and other nations are also building alternatives to Western-dominated digital infrastructure, forging new alliances in the process. The world is moving toward technological multipolarity, where competing digital blocks and standards are replacing the old model of a single global system. Iran's switch is both a technical solution and a powerful political statement, aligning it with nations seeking independence from Western control and forging a new path forward. It's a digital declaration of independence, setting a precedent for others to follow and inspiring a new wave of technological self-determination. In this new era, control over data and connectivity is now seen as a fundamental right of sovereign nations, an essential pillar of national security and identity. Beidou, China's answer to GPS, is a global navigation system with over 40 satellites and advanced capabilities. It offers decimeter-level precision for military users and a unique short messaging service, providing secure communication even when other networks fail. Beidou was born from China's desire for self-reliance and mistrust of US control over critical technology. By building Beidou, China secured its own needs and gained a powerful tool for foreign policy, deepening ties with partner nations. Over 140 countries now use Beidou, integrating it into everything from smartphones to disaster relief. For Iran, access to Beidou is a strategic asset, especially under US sanctions. Iran's official switch is a milestone validating China's investment and signaling a new era of competition in digital infrastructure. The world's digital backbone is no longer a one-system game. Beidou's rise is reshaping the global technological landscape. Beidou's origins trace back to the dramatic 1993 Yinhe incident, a turning point in China's technological ambitions and global strategy. At the time, the US intentionally degraded GPS signals to detain a Chinese ship, the Yinhe, which was suspected of transporting banned chemical materials to Iran. Although the ship was ultimately found innocent, the incident exposed China's reliance on foreign navigation systems and its vulnerability to external pressure, sparking a national debate about technological independence. In response, Beidou was elevated to a top national priority, fueled by the urgent need for security, self-reliance, and technological sovereignty in a rapidly changing world. Today, Beidou has grown into a global force, with its navigation system rapidly adopted across Asia, Africa, and Latin America, providing an alternative to Western-controlled GPS. Its expansion is often intertwined with China's Belt and Road Initiative, linking infrastructure, trade, and technology across continents. For Iran, the Yinhe story is more than history. It's a cautionary tale that closely mirrors its own struggles with American sanctions and pressure on its maritime trade. By switching to Beidou, Iran aims to shield itself from similar vulnerabilities, ensuring its navigation and communications remain secure and independent. This move aligns Iran with China's vision of strategic autonomy, forging a partnership based on mutual interests and shared technological goals. Their cooperation now extends beyond navigation, deepening into next-generation internet infrastructure and digital connectivity projects. Iran's pivot eastward is both a practical response to sanctions and a symbolic embrace of a new technological era, with China as a key partner. This collaboration reflects not only shared experiences of external pressure, but also a joint ambition to shape the future of global technology. In this new digital order, the Beidou-Iran alliance stands as a natural and strategic fit, redefining the balance of power in global navigation and connectivity. The transition from GPS to Beidou has been rocky for ordinary Iranians. Government disruptions of GPS have crippled ride-hailing, delivery apps, and online businesses, causing economic pain and public frustration. Millions of livelihoods have been affected, exposing a gap between state ambitions and daily realities. Officials have acknowledged the damage but shifted blame, deepening public distrust. The push for digital sovereignty is inflicting self-harm, as the methods used to achieve independence disrupt the economy and erode trust. Iran's digital siege is as much self-imposed as it is defensive. The success of the switch will depend on balancing security with the well-being of its citizens. For decades, GPS symbolized American global leadership and soft power. Iran's switch to Beidou is a direct challenge, signaling the end of uncontested US dominance in space-based technology. This is part of a broader realignment, with China and Russia building a parallel technological ecosystem. The world is splintering into competing digital blocks with profound implications for trade, security, and communication. Militarily, Iran's adoption of Beidou gives it secure, accurate navigation for its forces, forcing the US to rethink its strategic assumptions. America can no longer rely on controlling adversaries' navigation systems. To maintain influence, the US must innovate, invest, and strengthen alliances. The challenge from Beidou is as much geopolitical as it is technical. Iran's move is a wake-up call. The battle for global influence now includes satellites and signals. Iran's integration into Beidou is a defining moment, reshaping the Middle East's balance of power. By securing its navigation capabilities, Iran reduces vulnerabilities and gains new strategic confidence. This move accelerates the shift toward a multipolar world, where nations can choose their digital alliances. A domino effect may follow, with more countries opting for Beidou or other alternatives, creating distinct technospheres. For the US, the era of being the world's digital gatekeeper is over. A new strategy is needed to compete in this fractured landscape. The rise of Beidou is the result of China's long-term vision, and countering it will require similar foresight from Washington. Iran's switch encapsulates the major currents of our time: sovereignty, China's rise, and the end of a unipolar order. The world is watching to see who follows next.